give it a few minutes, see if anyone drops in. Otherwise, I'll do a quick video on my experience with the DC20 Forge software and what it was like preparing a session using the software and what it was like running it with the software, or some of the bumps and but also like great things that I was able to do with it. A lot of little bugs that I kind of experienced I've already fixed, which is cool. But you don't really know how something's gonna work. I mean, you can sit there and play with it and play test it, and a lot of times you can kind of find the bugs, but then when you're in the middle of working on things. Yo, Liam, how's it going, man? The Lunar Pierce, how's it going? Liam, I don't understand. I don't know why you're not number one. I don't get it. I don't get how you're never number one. The little crown number one always seems to be on somebody else, even when you're always the first one in. Not too shabby. Oof. Yeah, not too shabby is one way to saying it. I've been so busy. It's been crazy. I've been every almost every waking moment of my life is work these days. Whether it's my office, I have a side job that I picked up, or especially Wednesdays. Wednesdays are really tough. And then because like Wednesdays I'm like at my office until I have like a meeting for my second job, and then I go right into this. So Wednesday's a long day, and I'm usually up at 5 a.m. at minimum on Wednesdays. Isn't the crown for the most comments? Maybe, but I feel like, I mean, I don't know. That's a great question, but I have a hard time believing anyone's out commented Liam. Busy, tough semester, hence my slow pace. And hey, don't even worry about it, man. Honestly, I think it's in a really good spot right now, and not saying it's bug free. It's definitely not. It's got a few things here and there. I've been working just for you. I've been working on the custom monster form. I was literally just working on it in the 30 minutes I had between my last meeting and and the live stream. But yeah, I just updated it a little bit more. It's now pulling. So I've added reference. I mean, you may have seen them, but I've added reference libraries for features, actions, and Apex actions. And basically, what that means is like any monster that is currently on there. Um, it is basically pulling from all the different actions that they have, all the Apex actions that they have, and it's creating a reference library so people can go in, look at them for inspiration. You can click them. You can quickly add them to your monster if you want to play on it that way. Um, I've also added a reference library that includes spells and maneuvers, and basically what it does is it's crafting down miniature versions of spells, like not like just keeping it simple. And you can add, and I gotta work on this, but you can add the enhancements, which should come up as like an extra +1 action type thing, but it's not quite doing that yet. I gotta fix that, but yeah, you can go in, pick from any spell on the spell list. It'll give you a quick little short ability version of the spell or maneuver, and you can add it and edit it just to kind of use all those things as inspiration. Add a reference library for features where you can pull from all the abilities of the classes as well if you want to steal things like backstab, rage, or anything like that. You can pull from any of those. So yeah, been working on that monster form so that it's making it real easy to play with it. It was really motivating because I was making a couple monsters for the session that I did, but I'll get into that in just a minute. Let's see. No, I would have been number one last stream if it were the case. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like if you comment more than anybody. Made it on time for once. Yeah, Onyx, let's go. Well, hey man, you're busy building a video game. It's gotta be pretty time consuming. I got to play with it a little bit. I turned it on as promised last week. Only problem is I didn't have a mouse with me, and I was really having a hard time doing it with a touchpad. But I played with it a little bit. Only problem I had, I'm a few things here and there, but like the biggest problem is like I couldn't figure out how to land the dragon. I couldn't figure out how to do that. I was like, oh, and that's when I shut it off. But like, I played with it for a little bit, tried out a few different things, but it looks good. Looks good. I'm looking forward to see how it grows and develops. Liam, yeah, I saw that. It was sick. Thank you, appreciate it. I love the. It was such a great little. I was just like, and this is what inspired it. And I don't know if you like put any like feedback for those particular things, like actions and everything like that. But when I was building my monster and I was like sitting there like trying to think of actions, as I mentioned this at the end of the stream last week, it's like sometimes I just can't think of them, and that's when I started like, you know, like I don't want to have to go back out, look at actions and like examples. So that's where the reference library thing came about. I had an updated monster playtest feedback. Yeah, I saw a few little things. I just updated the auto calculations of the PDAD. So those are there now. Some fix. I did fix. I forget. I think it was Warendez. I think. He mentioned like there was a because of the updates to the form, it messed with the random monster generator and how it would pull. So I updated that today. I might have to do it again before it's all said and done, but it should be working now. Haven't had time to play DC20 game, maybe on Sunday. Yeah, you gotta get after it. Gotta play. Dodge button or Alt on keyboard to land dragon. Okay, what's the dodge button? Should have done a tutorial. Yes, I was thinking that, but I was like, I didn't know if that was like I mean, I don't know if it's too early to do a tutorial. But yeah, like a little something that pops up and goes like, this is the buttons you hit. Because I'm not a PC gamer, so I don't know any of those controls. So I was just like hitting buttons, figuring it out. But have you like it so far? Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I'm very curious to see how it plays because I know you right now you have like these you can attack and fight and everything, but you said you were gonna do turn based, right? Like it's not gonna be like straightforward fight like that. Those are just the animations of the attacks and stuff. Like when you like roll dice hit, is that am I assuming that right? Because I stood no chance. Maybe it's because I didn't have a mouse, but I got my ass beat every time I fought something in it. Yeah, sorry if I'm rubbing my eyes a lot. I am heavy tired today. I've been tossed and turned the last few nights. So like when I was with my wife last night, I was like, I'm gonna take the couch. Like I don't feel like keeping you up with my tossing and turning. So I slept on the couch, still tossed and turned. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'm just anxious. I don't know. I get so it's just like I just couldn't sleep. I haven't been able to sleep past few days, and it was early and very long day. I'm not a PC gamer either, so tutorial would be helpful. Yeah, real time for now, just because DC20 is still WFP. So it allows me to fiddle with the combat instead of having to update the entire game. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, later on, develop. There'll be turn-based mode. Yeah, let's go. That's my game. I'm not good. Like it's not that I'm not good. I'm not as good as the standard that is really good these days. Like I feel like this generation below me has grown up on games, and so like I'm mediocre at best. Like put me against a computer, I'll handle myself just fine. But put me against a player, especially someone who plays, I'm done. You can choose when you create. You can choose when you create the campaign. Oh, you can choose between turn-based combat and non-turn-based combat. Is that what you're saying? That's a cool concept. You can have either option. You can either fight full style or take the narrative. That's cool. Is this your first video game, or is it just you love just love DC20 and inspired by BG3? Dark Souls veteran. I'm ready. Love it. I am working on making a conversion over to PC. Um, I grew up lifetime Xbox. I now have a PS5. When I went to a next gen, because I have an Xbox One, um, instead of getting the Xbox whatever one it is, because the one whatever it is. When I went whatever the equivalent Xbox is to the PS5, I got a PS5 last year, um, and just kind of I did my next gen stuff there. I wanted to do BG3 on PS5 because my brother had PS5, and so we wanted to be able to play together. So I made the investment in that, but it's been a long time goal to build my own PC. I have some of the parts, but I just haven't gotten around to like getting the mother like not a motherboard, a graphics card, GPU, because they're crazy expensive. Or at least they were when I was trying. Made multiple before. Just first one I'm actually going to publish. Oh, cool. Cool. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for you, man. That's awesome. Great community. Great community for it. Hopefully I can grow a little bit more on the community side. Where am I at? Anyways, let's see. Let's see where we're at. Oh, shoot. Let me just hold on. Let me just edit something real quick. Let's see. Let's see where we're at for subscribers. We broke over 305 on free subscribers, and then we've got over 30 paid subscribers for DC20 Forge. So not bad at all. Can't complain about that. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes. Need to figure out a way I can convert some apprentices to the paid. And I'm hoping that like the custom builder is maybe I got to work on it for like custom. You know what I got to do? Custom spells. I got to do custom spells and custom maneuvers. I've just been hesitating on spells because he said he's going to rework them. So it's like I haven't dove into the building the custom spells. I can probably do custom maneuvers, but those will probably be big pullers for the free subscribers if they want to build their own maneuvers and spells. The thing is, Coach has done such a good job of like getting the foundations of everything. Like honestly, just making a custom ancestry is really just pulling from other ancestry abilities and then combining them in a certain way that it fits a certain ancestry. Any updates on getting Trello board for DC20 Forge? Yeah, I did look at it last week. I just hadn't pulled the trigger on it, and I just gotta look at see like if I can handle just doing the free version. Just because it's just going to take me. So I'm going to just tell you where my life's at right now. It's just going to take some time to organize that, which I'm totally not against. It's just I have to figure out where that time is at the moment, because like I said, my life's been crazy lately. So I've between the two jobs, the website, the renovations for the house, because I've pretty much spending every Friday afternoon and Saturday, more for first half of the day, working on renovations for the house. and um, I gotta get my taxes together. I gotta get my taxes ready for my accountant to yeah, so that's just one thing. My office is rolling out a whole new marketing campaign. Luckily, my business partner he's heading that. I don't have to head it, but I there's still other trainings and stuff I have to do. So finding the time, that's the trick. And I just again I'm not for or against it. It's just kind of like really where I've been at in February, because obviously I did a lot in January. I did a lot in obviously preparation for it in December. But where I'm at in February for DC20 Forge is just like, oh, I found a little bit of time here. Let's go. Let me look at the the feedback things and pick one and work on it. That's just kind of like where my flow has been, just not as hardcore as the first 2 months, because it is in a good spot. It's like the bugs are few and far in between, um, but yeah. And I'm waiting to hear back from Arkenforge. Haven't heard back from them just yet. BG3 was actually part of the reason I dropped D&D. The flaws of D&D became extremely apparent when you seen the game form. Oh my god, it's so true. I love that comment, Liam. That was exactly what I was thinking. Like, I'm in combat and I'm like, this is like, I can't wait. Like, I'm looking very much looking forward to Onyx's action point style combat and how that reflects. I really am. I really am. I think it's just from a pure combat perspective, I think it's going to absolutely destroy BG3's combat system. But that's just me. But it's just beating D&D's combat system, which isn't really hard. If you need help organizing one, I can help and invite you as editor, so that way you can edit the board. Hey, if you wanna do that, I certainly will not stop you. But don't feel like you have to. But yeah, I certainly will never say no to the help. Interested of AI transcribing, have AI imagine generations for character, monster, and item images. Change players, a fee per image. I could be means of secondary revenue. Yeah, so I'm playing with it right now, and I don't think you got a chance to see it. Onyx commented today, but he didn't have anything to really critique on it. He just said he didn't have use for it. But what I'm playing with is I and I'll leave this to the comments. So, if anyone watches the stream, leave a comment, let me know what you think. But one feature we have on the website is obviously the OpenAI transcriber. So you can upload an audio file. It'll transcribe it. It'll then drop it into a narrative summarizer that'll pull the important NPCs, the important locations, key moments, and everything like that. And so now we have a lot of open fields in the world builder when you're building entities, when you're building locations, when you're building NPCs, all those things. We have the storyboard, which again, there's some overlap between those two. You can do one without the other, but there's these open-ended questions that need answering. Then there is the module scene builder, where you can go in and you can type out quotes, and you can type out descriptions of a scene, a read out loud text, all those things. So what I have built is, and this is only on my account, but just because I'm trying to decide if this is something that is actually in demand, or if this just trying to figure it out. But basically, you can type in whatever you want. You can type in a concept of what you want this person to say, and then you can refine it. You can click an AI button that will refine it, and you can choose the theme, and you can type in just a critique text of how do you want them to refine it, and it will refine what you said to make it sound better. If you're someone who's not a very good writer, but you like being able to sound like you're a good writer, just for the flavor, just for bringing that alive in your game. you know, and I'm sure a lot of people go to their chat GPT like, hey, give me something like this to say, or this is what I want to say, make it sound like this, and then they'll drop it in. And so this is just trying to shortcut it a little bit. And so you can go in, you can refine it, and you can type it up, and it will auto fill out those fields for you, just to, and it's supposed to kind of read the different pages of your world, different pages of your storyboard, different scene elements that are going on, and keep it on theme so that everything's tracking and staying the way you want. So that's just one of the features I'm playing with right now. I used it to help me build my module or rather my chapter for my DC20 intro session this past weekend, just to see how much it would cost, because I got to look at, you know, what it charges my OpenAI to do all those little things. And obviously, if it ends up being too much, it's like, can't do it. But I might, and it's just, and again, it just comes down to what the costs are, and if it's really like negligible, then maybe I'll let that be a Forge Master tier feature. But just, and again, like, I don't have much addition to other features when it comes to the Dragon Forge feature, or the Dragon Forge features. The only difference between a Dragon Forge and a Forge Master is that you can upload up to 30 hours of transcribable audio. So it's really for those, you know, people who are playing every week. But I was just trying to give something else to the Dragon Forge. So, but hey, if people want to say, hey, it should be I honestly think Forge Masters has so many features. So I was just trying to give something else to Dragon Forge and you know, boost that interest. But let me know your thoughts if you think that's a good idea. But I know I do like it. Again, I just have to play around with how much certain things cost. But yeah, for AI stuff, I could probably more easily justify those kind of functions for a Dragon Forge, just because, you know, it's a $25 versus a $10, and I know the audio hours don't add up to be that much. But yeah. Though, thoughts on being able to attach audio files to the character sheet or monster stat block. Would love to click and have my monster roar, or attach an explosion sound or file above. So again, the problem is licensing. Like, I have all those. Actually, I don't know. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this, but I'll have to reread the email, because like I said, I have Fantasy Complete. I have all these sounds, but I don't think they can be used that way. I think it just comes down to, like, where can I get those sounds? Who will let me use them? Because I think they're not meant to be used in that way. Yeah. Because what was the original reason we were talking about Fantasy AI? It was for some other reason. Update DC20 Forge when it's done. Thanks, Sonics. Appreciate it. I'll try to find some time to go edit it this weekend, though. It's already looking like a busy weekend, so we'll see. I've got you know, Valentine's Day. Gotta take care of the wife. Gotta devote some time to the beautiful wife. But yeah, what were we talking about the fantasy? Oh yeah, having like a DJ. Like, I definitely can't use it that way. Like, I can't have it someone being able to use it in that way. But maybe I can like, I don't think I can. I think there's a licensing issue there, and I don't want to get in trouble. Anything with AI players should get tokens that can be used on AI stuff. Have microtransactions to buy more tokens. Players can get free ones every month. The higher tiers get more per month. Yeah, it's certainly possible. I got to figure out how I would work that one out. Yeah, I got to figure out how I would work that one out. Like I might just have to. I can probably make it just a product in the store, but yeah, I just have to figure that one out. That would take some, but I just don't know what exactly to use it for. But are you looking for more like attach audio files to the character sheet or monster stat block? AI image generations for character monsters and item images. Well, I mean, like, people. It's easy enough. I think it's a hard justification because I think it's easy enough for people to go out and get AI images now, and stuff like that. Like I certainly don't mind creating a way to do that, and it's again, it just I feel like who's gonna buy the tokens here when they can, like, if they can get it free off ChatGPT on the free version, So that's my only thing. So that's just that. It just seems like, I mean, again, I'm not saying there isn't certain people who wouldn't do it, but yeah, I see what you're thinking though. But anyways, I promised you guys a story, so here's my story. So here's how it all went. So I spent, as I said, like we had our last Wednesday live stream, and then I went and I devoted my Thursday and Friday to getting ready for my DC20 Forge one shot with my 3.5 player slash DM. Like he really only runs. He doesn't play a lot. Maybe, and I think more the problem is that I don't think he's ever been with anyone he's enjoyed having as a DM. I think it's the big problem with him. But he's only ever really played 3.5, and that's the only thing that he's ever really run. But he's heard me talk about DC20 incessantly, and so he finally gave it a shot. Like I said, he's a big Game of Thrones fan. So I wrote this chapter about, and I'm gonna once I've kind of finished the module, I will post it to the homebrew community to use if anyone ever wants to use it, just like I posted the world. But basically, in the Iron Isles, there is this is in the Age of Heroes, so this is before the Drowned God religion has really taken root in the Iron Isles. And so they all worship the old ways, and but the Drowned God religion is starting to make its way there, and it's threatening the current leader's power. So they're playing House Greyjoy back in the Age of Heroes before they were a significant house. So they're from Pike. House Grey Iron is the king of the Iron Isles right now. They are in Great Wick, which is one of the islands in the Iron Isles. And so they basically, the session started off with my two players who are experiencing Pike and life there and witnessing a drowning, a baptism. And unfortunately, this baptism didn't go well because the guy who was baptized did not survive the baptism. So they're both actually followers of the heir of House Greyjoy. Aeron Greyjoy is the heir apparent right now. Balon Greyjoy is the steward of Pike, and his wife Alanis. And so yeah, Aeron, it's Boatswain and Lucan. Both of them are bastards. Lucan Pike and Boatswain Pike, and Aeron Greyjoy. Witness this. That was the first thing that happened. Then the king shows up on Pike, and basically they go about their normal day business. But then there's a dinner with the king, and it's King Euron King Euron Grey his son Harlan Grey and his daughter Ursa Grey along with Aeron Greyjoy, Alanis Greyjoy, Balon Greyjoy, and Lucan and Boatswain are in the background. And so basically the scene was just quotes, like, hey, what does everyone think of this new religion, and everyone rattling off their quotes. And so this is one of the secrets I've learned about political campaigns is and I'm going to give the credit to Mystic Arts. So phenomenal writer, phenomenal DM, great YouTube. I really like him, and I do want to credit him for this because he's the one who kind of opened this door for me. And my DM, who is my player in this scenario, really complimented my layout, and I completely 100% owe this to the simple concept that Mystic Arts came up with. And so all it is 3, the rule of 3. In the rule of 3, you have the power or the bad, or whatever you want to call it, or the good, whichever. It doesn't matter which one's in power, but you have the power, you have the resistance, and you have the influence. And those are pretty much the three things. So in this case, the power is in House Grey Iron. The resistance is the religion, the growing religion, and in the house that happens to be involved in growing the religion of the drowned god is House Drum of Oldwick, and so they're promoting this religion. The influence is, and the influence, you can actually make multiple influences, but in this case, I chose House Blacktide. House Blacktide is of the island Blacktide of the Iron Isles, and so they were charged with by the king to basically figure out who is in line with the religion, who is not, and basically report back to him. He needs to know who his allies are, who his enemies are before he does anything, and he's even given them the PCs the ability to try to pull them over to the king's side. If they succeed in pulling them over to the king's side, the king gains an advantage. If they don't, then the influence is going to side with the other one. So they're going to try to pull it to, and who knows what they decide. The players can ultimately decide, maybe we want the drowned god to flourish, but they've been charged by the king not to. But they're going to try to get House Blacktide on the side of House Grey Iron. If they fail, then House Blacktide works with House Drum. Rule 3. So, and if this already sounds confusing, good, because that is the whole goal of a political campaign. But all it is 3. And now within each of these 3 houses is 3 characters. And you can have a little bit more, but in all of mine is 3 characters. One who's for the religion, one who's against the religion, and one who's in between. And so as they go interact with these different NPCs, is they're going to find who's on what side, and then they may try to use the influence to gain leverage on others, take out the ones they're against. Totally up to them. But it's just this rule of 3. And if they interact with the influence, well, the influence is going to have a job for them that's going to have to go with 3 more possibilities, which again, one that's for, one's against, one's the influence. And that's all a political campaign is. You keep breaking it down in layers, those 3, and you're flavoring them so different, not very minimally really at the same time, but it has this feeling of depth and intertwinedness that is just crazy. But it's really simple. And so that's my nugget of knowledge for passing on. Again, not my original thought. This idea comes from Mystic Arts, but I'm just sharing with how that played in my session with them, because he was like, there's so many layers. I'm like, there's not. In my head, I'm like, there's not. I know where everyone's aligned, and it's really not as much, but to him it is, because there's a lot more to remember, but he doesn't know what the basic 3 things are. So if he knew what the basic 3 are, he would be very easily be able to identify and unwind this whole concept, but he doesn't. And that's the secret to political intrigue. But I completely turned his character upside down, because his character is that he's actually playing a Cyborn class, and he and in the Age of Heroes, and my version of Age of Heroes, there's more magic in the world of Westeros than there was, after the wall was built, for reasons. But yeah, so he's playing a Cyborn, and he's very much a people watcher and people he understands, but he's starting to face some mystical godlike stuff, and he just can't comprehend it. And I've got the god, again, the way the political campaign works, I've got things that are pulling him to it, things are pulling him away from it, and he's just like, it was so fun. It was so fun. It didn't start well, though. I'm going to tell you. I had this, beautifully narratively written, like just setting the scene of Pike. Just sounds, visualization, smells. Just setting the scene. That's all I was trying to do. Not something a lot of people have to remember. Just trying to paint the picture to get the minute. He stopped me before the last paragraph. It was 3 or 4 paragraphs. Not long. But he stopped me before I got to the last paragraph. And he was just like, I'm not going to remember any of this. I'm like, and I could tell the other player was looking at him like, dude, be a little patient. And I'm like, this is the whole point of me setting the scene is like, no one's in it yet. No one's here. Like, I'm just trying to take my time and get you there. And it just didn't like, and this is why I think that he hasn't been with a DM that he's enjoyed being with. So I had to completely pivot and get into a new approach. And here's what I found. Here's what I've learned in my years of DMing is if you have players who are asking questions and maybe you are in your head like this isn't going well because of whatever's going on, like just take a breath and just listen, like listen to what they're saying, and just follow their thought. Like just ask the questions that you feel like, and answer the questions you feel like you need. And as soon as I pivoted and did that, like things changed. I'm just answering his questions one at a time. I'm like, what do you need? What do you need to help me paint this picture for to get you in this mode? And he's like, okay, perfect. And that's all we did. And then it just became this, instead of this me sitting here trying to kind of force what I was trying to do onto them, I just took my time answering the questions, because at the end of the day, like if they're asking you questions, they're interested. Like they want to know more. They're wanting to get in this role play mode, because that's not always an easy switch for everybody. From like we were just talking and joking around, all right, now we're here. It sometimes takes a few minutes for people to get in the middle of role play. So take your time, take a breath, let the questions come, answer them in good faith, best of your ability, and just get into it. And then once you're there, and then session took off. I didn't even, nothing I prepared, nothing I wrote, nothing I got ready. Like the only thing there's only two things out of my entire freaking days of preparation actually went into the session. One was the quotes, like what everyone's opinion of the religion. That one he was fine with. But I got the gist of, but I also followed it up with like he's for, he's against, like here's the quote, here's the subtext. And then the combat was obviously, that was written that went as supposed to. Only problems I had is just like if you have PCs who are connected to a campaign at the time, for some reason when you clicked start combat, it wouldn't move their initiative order, and it had something to do with the fact that like the way that it works is when you click start combat, the live PCs, if they roll initiative on their character sheet, it'll automatically order them. Problem is they weren't using the digital character sheets. I mean, they did a little bit, but they didn't use it at that time. So they rolled the physical dice. They didn't type it in. I had to do it. So I had to create some manual overrides for it, but now it's working. But anyways, that was the session. It ended on a really good note. Everyone was really, they were like, we need to continue this on. The only thing that he kind of said is like, the only thing I was missing is just like an origin story. And I get it. Like we're big on origin stories. We're big about, like, how did your character get to where he is today? And so we're probably gonna kind of do like a flashback, like he just went through like really messed up. Like he's messed up. His whole character's like having like asking himself the really important question: how did I get here? Who am I? What am I doing? And so it's more than likely that next time we do play that, and that'll be on an off week when we couldn't play our normal session, but when we get back to do it, we'll do like an origin session. We'll go back to like placing the character in the world, experiencing the world around him, fast forwarding, and then fast forwarding back to present day, which is fun. Like if you've never done that, if you've never run character sessions and just like, why did they become who they become? Why did they choose their class? Why are they the way they are? And just having sessions to answer those questions will make the biggest difference for your role play ever. All right, let me just get back to me answering some of these questions. Let's see. I'm basically money grab. Yeah, and I don't want to really be a money grab. Like it's an option. I'll definitely keep it in the wings as an option, but I don't really care to do money grabs. I would like to just let the subscriptions do their thing. That's what I would like to do. Got to finish making my Green Seer Druid. There you go. Is there anything that I haven't done that'll keep you from doing that? Is that why you were mentioning the playtest feedback? Or is there something else I need to do? Next time we talk, I should tell you about the 8 types of fun. Really helped me as DM. Excuse me. The 8 types of fun. Should do a video. Should do a YouTube video. Watch it. Thank you, Onyx. Got your link. Thank you, my friend. I will not get that tonight because I will probably pass out in 20 minutes after we get done. But yeah, any questions about the site so far? Any critiques? Any what do you guys think of this? The quick rundown story. And if you're not a Game of Thrones fan, shame on you. Eight types of fun. Well, you know, I think it's funny. I was actually listening. Mr. Gark's video popped up on me again this morning. He was just talking about how, he was speaking of BG3. He was just talking about how, like, one of the things that DMs kind of do sometimes, they describe a whole room, they describe everything that's in it, like, so much to the point that it's like characters don't really know what to do, what to interact with, and so instead what they do is when you're describing the scene, only talk about the highlight things they can interact with. And what do I mean by that? I mean, like, when you're playing Baldur's Gate 3, and this is the example he used, when you're playing Baldur's Gate 3, you see what the highlight is. Like, it actually physically highlights, and then you go and you can interact with it. You're not really giving away the game. You're just saying, you walk in, there's a table, there's a bookshelf, and a door. And those are the things you see. Those are the 3 highlights. Well, they still have to go look at that. Okay, you go look at the drawer, the desk. There's a drawer on the left, drawer on the right, and you make them. You're basically inviting them to interact with your room versus just kind of leaving a really blank slate. Sounds like an awesome campaign. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to come out. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I've got, like, and if we continue on it, even if they, ultimately, the PCs are going to decide whether or not the Drowned God in this moment takes over the Ionos or not. Not after Season 8. I don't blame you. And that was another conversation we had before we started our session. We just like Season 8 didn't happen. They've been watching the new the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. They've been saying it's very more D&D-esque, like funnier, not Game of Thrones serious feel, but it's good. But the campaign sounds really cool though. Hope everything goes well. Thanks. Preach. I know we got to plan our session at some point. Let me get into my house and renovations being done, and that way it's one more thing off of my list of things to do, and then we can plan our live stream session, and we should be a lot closer to being able to play with Mirrorscape from a character sheet point of view. I know that I think they have to get through the month of February, which is, again, my move-in date is March 1st. So I think they have to get through the month of February, and then we should be looking at integration for Mirror Forge. And then I'm just waiting to hear back. I followed up with Arkin Forge today just to see if they were still doing something, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But thanks for the feedback, guys. Excuse me. Yeah, you see how tired I am? But thank you, Onyx. I appreciate you setting up that Trello. You want to see? This is how tired I was yesterday. I was like ready to fall asleep at like 8:30 last night. I think I kind of like forced myself to stay awake. I think a little bit longer, just so that I wasn't waking up super early. But I still did. I still woke up at like 4:30 in the morning, because I fell asleep earlier than I usually do. Fair. Ugh, fair. I was looking at like the free features are just fine, right? Like you don't need I don't need to pay for the paid tiers for the Trello. That was the only thing I was looking worried about when I was like looking at it. I was like, oh, this looks cool. And then problem is sometimes like I have things planned and it's like I don't know when I'm gonna do it until I do it. I promise I'm a little bit ADHD, so like sometimes I'll like say like, oh, I'm gonna do this here, but then I like do it here and then this here, and it's my mind just goes in weird ways. Because one day, because I'll be working on something, is what will happen. Is like, for example, the monster form. Because like I added all those reference libraries, and then I realized, oh no, this isn't working. This isn't working. And so I find or I go and just tweak other things that I like wasn't even on my list of things to do. Because I'll like, all right, I got all this done, but I want to change this now. Hope to one day play a campaign with you in the world will make me play either Lord of Light Sorcerer or Faith of the Seven Cleric. Well, the seven don't exist right now in my Age of Heroes. That's the only thing. This is before the seven. This is the old ways. This back when like I best I explained it to them is like this is like it's like Native American esque. You know, they believe in like the spirits and nature and certain stuff. And there's not really magical scientific explanations for things that aren't hugely accurate, but that's how they explain them. But Faceless Man Rogue would be cool. That is one thing that I had imagined as well as playing a Faceless Man Rogue at one point, and yeah, that when I was actually preparing for the campaign that I'm playing with him right now, where he's my DM, I'm playing an Assassin's Creed Rogue, but I had definitely considered playing a Faceless Man Rogue. I just need to because I wanted some of the extra stuff. No, you don't. I just need. Got it. Fair. That's fair. Yeah, I should be fine with a free tier. Well, that's something we have in common. I have ADHD too. It doesn't make it difficult and easy at that. Yep. Because you'll have this list. You'll like the perfect example. I think Liam, when you gave me like I think some of the spell infusions to do. And I don't know what's wrong with the spellcasting infusion. I have to figure out what is wrong with it. But I think that's the one I haven't fixed yet. But I'll be working on one. And then that'll make me see another problem somewhere else. And then I'm rabbit holing down this line of... And it's not that maybe that second thing wasn't a problem. But because I fixed this, I now want to make this better. So I'd rabbit hole down making this line of things better, or line of things that maybe weren't even seen as an issue before. But to be fair, Onyx, I 100% attribute that to why DC20 Forge came out to be as good as it is so far, and will continue to become out as good because I don't just like settle with like, okay, this is good. And I may have to even circle back to it sometimes, but I'm always looking at improving things. And sometimes with the scene element stuff, like I forget Freeho, I forget his name or his email, or I think it's Fred's on the channel, but he had a bunch of stuff because he really dug in on the campaign functions and the story builder and scene editor and everything like that. And as much as I wanted to jump on him, I just didn't have a line of thinking for it. But as soon as I started working on skill challenge let me rephrase that. As soon as I started building scenes, as soon as I started going together and doing that, and it became, all right, I need to be able to run a game. I need other people to be able to run games where this is easy. I need to make sure this works the way it's supposed to work. And so that's when I can kind of really dig in, because like when I need to do something, and that's part of the problem is like it's not just fine. It's not just looking at the bug list, going in and fixing it. I needed to spend time building scenes, which is a whole extra set of work. But as soon as I'm playing with this stuff more, it's just going to get better because I'm going to see what's wrong with it myself and know how to fix it because I know what's wrong with it. Speaking of, I just messed up the monster parser like just before I signed on. Like it was working, but it didn't get like it parsed actions well for the reference library, but then I noticed it wasn't parsing all of them, and then it started parsing bulks of them, and it's like, oh, how do I fix that? Because again, like it'll look good, it'll be plenty fine, but then yeah, it's a little bit better. I still need to it still needs to parse better. It's still doing too much. Anyways. Anyways. I have no doubt that's why your video game will be so good because you'll rabbit hole it when you'll rabbit hole down some things and you'll make it better. You'll make it good. If it's anything like the dice roller. The only thing, and you might just have to, if you have time, Onyx, just give it a check on the code a little bit because I feel like, again, and I couldn't find a way to tweak this myself. I feel like I have to let you do it. I couldn't make the numbers a little bit more readable, and I felt like it wasn't always highlighting, like the number that was showing up wasn't always the one that was being highlighted. And I was just trying to look to see if I could make the D20s a little bigger. So I don't know if you have time to just check that out, but that was just the only thing that I was looking at. I was like, I couldn't figure out how to fix it on my end. So, but no rush. You know, you can do that. Whatever. Dice roller works just fine. Those are just the only kind of little things that I was like, I feel like I just wish this was a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to read. In particular, the D20. I think the D20 was the only one that I felt like was kind of hard to read more than anything else. All right. Perfect. Thanks, boss. Well, if no one's got any more questions, I know we're a little bit 8 minutes early, but I'm usually running late, running long, and I am just a little bit tired. But I'll give anyone a last minute chance to ask questions if they so desire. Maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll start giving away a free monthly membership or something. Once we start getting some more, maybe we'll start getting more people on these live streams. Or giving away a free digital book. I know it doesn't mean anything to Onyx or Liam because you both have, I think you guys got everything with your Patreon tiers. But time on the Mithramized, yes. It's a great question. Maybe I'll find some time to do it this weekend. Maybe we'll see what happens. I might have a little time on Friday night. Might have a little time on Saturday during the day. It really depends on what my wife wants to do on Valentine's Day. That's really what it's going to break down to. And then I may be able to dig into it next week. My second job just picked up. So I know I just blocked off a bunch of times over the next few days. But we'll see what kind of time I find. I will, you know what? Now that I have the Trello, I'll put it on there when I figure it out. I'll share the Trello to probably put it where the patch notes is right now. I'll just replace the patch notes with that. But we'll see where we're at. All right. One more minute. Last questions. And then I'm going to pass out. Otherwise, if you got no any questions, then we just call it good night. Still don't understand how you're number 3 of them. It doesn't make any sense. Onyx has gotten a lot of comments, but I still don't think you beat Liam. Just can't figure it out. Oh, we lost Lunar Pierce almost immediately. All right, night, fellas. Have a great night, and I'll talk to